Chill.
Whatever.
What is wrong with you? Oh my God.
He got to shoot whatever the check was.
Oh my God, yeah. It was 500,000.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. I'm Chael. He's Daniel. Big weekend partner. Where do you want to begin?
I mean, there's a lot. Chill. We have been, first off, how you doing, my friend? How have you been?
I'm doing great. This is what we call layers out here in Oregon. As the season changes, I'm getting colder, and I got to wear 2 shirts instead of 1.
I love that. You look like one of my favorite characters from TV in the 80s, Mr. Rogers. Got that nice vest. You look great. But yes, it starts to get cold. Bro, here in California yesterday, it was 47 degrees when I got back from Vegas.
That's bitter.
By midday, 87. It was hot. It's unbelievable that it could change that much, but that is California. But chill. We have been in this game now for a long time, you and I. You a lot longer than me because you started paying attention to it way back in the day. But I think I might have saw something for the first time in my life last weekend. Ante Delija is fighting Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Bro, he gets poked. Chael, the fight gets stopped. It's over. Delija is now supposed to be 2-0. He was number 9 in the world after one UFC fight. He walks over to the side. He's celebrating with Bisping. Yeah. Bisping's like, yo, I don't know if you won, man. I get up to go do the post-fight interview. They say, sit back down. They may be restarting the fight. Chael, he got poked in the eye after what looked like a finish. They restarted the fight. Waldo Cortes-Acosta lands a beautiful counter right hand and knocks him out. About 25 seconds after the fight restarts. What did you make of this whole situation?
Look, I saw it from every perspective, and there's very few things that I enjoy as a fan more than to criticize our officials and administrators. Yes. I enjoy that. In a game, if I'm going to a football game, I love to tell the ref that he missed something. I thought that this got called very correctly, and we're learning something. Yeah, go ahead, D.
On the refs, Chael. You know what's my favorite thing to do?
Tell me.
God. When we go to WWE, I don't know if you were paying attention, but at WrestleMania, the whole time, I am on the official. He's dirty, ref. You got to get under control. Look, he's doing this the whole time. I'm just riding the ref. Come on, ref. You got to get some control in this ring. I love it. You're right. There's nothing better than arguing with an official, even if it's a WWE ref. I scream at him. So, yes, we love to put them down, Chael. But like you said, wasn't that done right last weekend?
Daniel, my favorite is when there's a 1-2 and the guy kicks out and to tell the ref, that's a slow count, ref. Yes. 2, 3. That's a slow count.
It's the best.
To say it like with real passion and try to get the other marks into it with me. But when I looked at that, I haven't seen one of our officials get one wrong in a long time. Herzog took a little heat a couple of weeks ago in the Aspinall fight, but if you go back and look at it, even John McCarthy comes out and says, you handled that perfectly. Again over this weekend, and those eye pokes do seem to be a commonality. I think that there is maybe a reasonable conversation we could have about a solution to these things. I've heard that blamed on the gloves, but you and I come from amateur wrestling where we had no glove whatsoever, and we were not going around poking each other in the eye. So I feel like we have a different conversation there, and maybe that's the one that I'm attempting to have, but I would like to take a moment just to clear the referee. The referee, per the rules, called that correctly.
Yeah, Mark Smith did a great job in that, and honestly, so there were 2 things that happened, and I spoke to Delia's team after, so I'll give you a little bit of an insight as to what they were thinking. But one thing Mark Smith didn't do, Chael, there is a universal signal for it is over in a fight. They do something with their hands. We have all seen it. Whether Herb Dean will tackle the guy and start doing stuff like this, whether they do it like this if a guy stuck along the octagon side, they give you some sort of gesture that tells you this fight is over. Mark Smith never did that, Chael. He never did. He never gave this. He never gave this. He never did that. So it gave the impression that he recognized that something might have been up. Now, Delija goes in there and finishes the fight as he's supposed to. Acosta-Cortez immediately starts to protest. He eye poked me, man. He eye poked me, man. You know, he's from the Dominican Republic. Mark walks right over to the side. Replay official is Herb Dean. Herb goes, I'm watching it. You could tell because chill. The referees are becoming too big a part of the story. They don't want to be involved. They are supposed to be invisible. They are not supposed to be this big a conversation every single week. And you can see her probably going, man, again, now we got to deal with this again. Let me watch the replay. He goes, it was an eye poke. I watch him walk up the stairs. Bro, we get told in our ear, fight cannot get restarted. Fight can't get restarted. And all of a sudden, they're like, you still got 3 minutes left. Tell us if you continue. I was like, oh my God. I could not believe it. It's like, and then I worked 3 straight weeks. And in 3 straight weeks, I've watched some crazy stuff happen in Vancouver where the referee stopped the fight 3 seconds before the round ended. I watched the main event of a pay-per-view, which is just insane, get stopped by an eye poke. And then I watch a fight stop and get restarted 3 minutes later. Dude, it's nuts. Mark Smith got it right. But even if you got it right, you're still tied to a situation that is so abnormal that you feel a little bit of the flack. It was crazy what happened.
Yeah, not to mention, by the way, and without getting into all the weeds and boring people, but it's not the same in each state. Like, you will hear the term unified rules. There's something known as the unified rules, but there's also glitches and nuances within each athletic commission. And sometimes it comes down to some of those calls like that. What renders a no contest? How does an athlete respond after an eye poke or a knee groin? Sometimes Vegas, we've all got those perfectly memorized. I'm just sharing for you, when that happens, I do hate it. It does make you give light to the Aspinall situation. You know, what should have he done? Was this worse? Daniel, I really didn't want to thrive on it for the whole evening. I thought there was some other drama of the night. So if you're happy with my piece here, I'd love to move on.
I love your thought on it. Really fast though. I spoke to Delia's team. They're trying to figure out how they can protest this. Chael, come on, man. There's no protesting. Is there? Is there protesting? Like, kid, no, ref, you got it wrong, because they said he gave Acosta the chair. They let him sit. Not supposed to happen. They said that the ref, while we didn't see it, they said with his left hand, he gave the no-go that the fight was over. Yep. There are a lot of reasons that they have come up with that they feel they can challenge this. But chill. Can you really go, we need a redo in that situation when he gets hit with the type of punch that would have put any heavyweight down?
You can go for a no contest. Yes, there is a mechanism within the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and it's time consuming. And if you're going through that process, you can't be booked. You're going to essentially make yourself unemployed. And the best outcome that you could get is a no contest on a fight that wasn't on a pay-per-view anyway. You're going to find out that you're going to need lawyers, and it's going to take time and money. And generally, that is a nuisance enough to stop somebody from doing it. And in our sport, we realize that we get some wrong, and some go for you and some go against you, but we learn as we go. And generally, that is the theme. But in that moment, a lot of people are angry. And if I'm to answer your question from a literal standpoint, yes, there is a mechanism for protest. However, the best they could hope for is a no contest.
Okay, perfect. Perfectly said. Now I'll give you your wish. I will move on. Now, Chael, I will move on. Like, hey, man, this it's Chael and the other guy. I'm just here to kind of help, man. Chael, last Saturday, I saw one of the weirdest fights that I've seen in a long time. Now, let me tell you why it was weird. And I mean, you can hear my commentary on the fight. Chael, I am almost disgusted. I am almost disgusted when calling it. Like, I'm a coach. I'm a wrestling coach. Chael, it would be like if I put a half Nelson on you, Chael, and instead of looking away and peeling the half Nelson, all you did was put your arm out and look into the half Nelson, eventually showing that at the end of the day, you're going to go over to your back. There's no way, right? It might take some time, but eventually you're going to your back. I'm watching Isaac Dulgarian last weekend fight. He's defending a rear naked choke, right? But he's taking off the hand that goes behind the head. He peels it. But once he peels it, he never takes this hand to go up and try to attack the other hand. So he's fighting the hand that's behind the head, but leaving the one that's actually choking him. And then for some reason, he's got this hand, and instead of using his hand to pull, he starts to punch. Chill, he starts to punch. It was nuts. It was maddening. And I tell Bisping, I go, Michael, he's not attacking the hand. I go, Michael, these are basic skills you learn when you go in jiu-jitsu, and you should not be displaying this level of just unbelievable submission defense on the highest level of the sport, Chill. If somebody's that bad, they should not be fighting in the UFC. What did you make of that? Because a lot came with it afterwards.
There was some courage with what you just said. I mean, we go out there, we give guys belt promotions based on what they do. We've never seen a coach go in and do a demotion, but Daniel, that simply was not black belt technique. That was not even brown belt level technique. Now, I'm open to an idea. Of, look, my rib was secretly hurt. I secretly needed it. I was scared. That guy was hitting me so hard. Here was my opportunity. I get that he's not going to want that advertised, but as fighters, every now and then they take account and they do take the road of least resistance. I just didn't see it being that kind of a battle. It looked almost like a cooperation. One thing with professional wrestling, I don't like it when people say professional wrestling is fake. Whether it is or not, I just don't like the word. I like it when they say there's a cooperation. I like when they know MMA is a competition and the other they are performing, they are cooperating and helping one another. That looked like they were cooperating. And that's all I can say. As for what happened, I think that you did the X's and O's. As for how I perceived what happened, it looked like a cooperation.
So when I get off, right? When I get off, I grab my phone and they're like, DC, check your phone right now. It's important. And all this other stuff associated to betting and sports books and refunds of money is all going on regarding this fight. Chill. I had no idea this was all happening. So the disgust in my watching it was just how I felt. If I knew what I saw afterwards, I'm not a conspiracy guy, it would have really pissed me off because like you said, there is no cooperating in mixed martial arts. You go in there and you fight to the death. That's what I think, or at least that's how I approached it. But man, with all the stuff surrounding this now, it's crazy. And I wanted to get some insight. So we're bringing Ian Parker, right? Ian Parker works with us up at ESPN. Ian, come on, man. Get on the show. And Ian will help us discuss everything that went on, talking the sports book, how this happens. Ian, thank you for joining the show, man. And what exactly went down before that fight that raised the red flags, Ian?
Well, this has happened recently with Darrick Minner, but DC, Chael, this one was way worse. With Darrick Minner.
Really?
Yeah, way, way worse. With the Darrick Minner situation, his team obviously knew of the injury, but Darrick Minner was the underdog. So the only way to make money in that fight with the information was to bet on his opponent in round one to get any type of value or anything. Here, Dulgarian was at one point a minus 250. Okay? So in other words, if you bet on his opponent at all, it's underdog money. All right, so you're getting plus odds right away. So whoever knew about this was getting a tremendous value on this bet. To take it a step further, the round one finish for Del Valle went from a plus 850 to a plus 450. That is
So a whole bunch of money came in on Del Valle to finish
round one
in the first round?
Yes, and on top of that, with all this happening, the money was coming in opposite everything you could think of in the last 3 hours, up until the last 90 minutes, where a lot of the sports books started pulling down the props. They removed the fight off the board. And then it gets even crazier. When Dulgarian, and DC, you probably don't even remember yourself saying this. You said that when Dulgarian shoots in and takes people down, he runs through them. If you look at the first double leg, he stops and walks his way to the cage. Now, this is not to take away from the Del Valle performance. Kid's a stud, okay? But the round one finish on someone in Dulgarian, who every fight he's been in, he's either won in round one or even in the loss to Christian Rodriguez, had a 10-8 scorecard in his favor. All of a sudden, the guy doesn't know how to defend a rear naked choke, starts punching, Jiu-Jitsu 101, you guys said it on the broadcast. The money was pouring in, and who picked it up was the gambling community on Twitter. Every MMA gambler you could think of with any type of name or following we all talked about it. We said, this is getting nuts right now. Is there an injury leak? What is going on? Because that number just kept going down to the point where Dulgarian was a minus 105 when the fight started.
It moved that much?
Oh, yeah. It all moved. I mean, the money was coming in between the round 1 finish for Del Valle and the round 1 and the win for him in general. So, I mean, you might as well wear a sign on your head saying, hey, guys, I'm taking a dive. I'm going to give a worse performance than George Clooney as Batman and Batman Forever. It was just brutal. Go ahead, ask.
I'm laughing at the reference. I'm laughing because the George Clooney line is what got me, DC.
You're welcome.
Is this really part of our sport? Is this something that we really have to accept?
That's what I was
because I resist it, partner. I resist it.
I was going to ask you that. Like, is this a part of our sport?
Well, look, recently, obviously, the NBA just had a huge gambling scandal, right? And this is not the first time this has happened. It's not the first time it's happened in an MMA organization or in boxing. Unfortunately, this is something where I don't want to say that this should be associated with the sport of mixed martial arts or the UFC or any promotion, because they had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to gain, right, by anyone doing this, whatever it is. But it just shows you how important it is that sometimes the betting community has a clue and knows when these things are going on. I mean, think about this, right? We're now hearing that Ankalaev was compromised prior to the fight against Poatan, right? Imagine if that information got leaked and you were to tell all the gambling community, hey, Ankalaev will not be able to wrestle. He's not even 20% and Poatan's at plus money. Everyone and their mother is going to go that way. So I don't think that this is necessarily part of our sport, but unfortunately, it's not the first time. And I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't the last time. Just these guys did it in a really stupid way. And on top of that, I'm sure you guys know who he's somewhat in connection with that team.
Did he start kind of like, go ahead, Chill, sorry.
Well, thank you, Daniel. If I could just get a little clarity. So I just want to break this down, Ian, real fast. So at times, or in the basketball situation, the fans had known ahead of time. Okay, let me get my thoughts together. You use the example of Ankalaev. If somebody finds out that Ankalaev is hurt and chooses to make a wager against him, that is a very different thing than what we believe we saw here, correct? What we saw here was an athlete that was aware of whatever the reason, but my time in this contest is going to come to an end at roughly X minute. Is that what we believe we're seeing, or we just had an injury report that got out and people attempted to cash in? I feel like I would be simplifying it if I went with that suggestion.
I'll simplify it as best as I can. Based on everything that happened, it was known this fight was going to end in round 1 with Dulgarian taking the loss. The number doesn't, especially on a prop, a round 1 prop for an underdog, okay?
Yeah,
with the Derek Minner thing, remember, he was a huge underdog, so him getting beaten up real bad in round 1 by a significant striker, totally different situation here. He was a guy that everyone prior to the information being seen was taking him. Okay, I gave out on my show, I said, hey, he's the last leg of the parlay. The minute I saw this, I went on Twitter, I said, get out. Cash out that bet, hedge, something's up here. So this is not just an information leak on an injury. It was just too obvious that he went down in round 1, and the broadcast did a good job of calling out his lack of, I mean, this guy's too good to be that bad at defending.
I was so mad. I was so mad at him. It was like just it was like watching someone choosing to do the wrong thing. I hate that, dude. Like, I hate it as a coach. But Ian,
but guys, we're not saying he went down in round 1 because he was overwhelmed or he had an injury.
No, he went down. Ian's saying that they believe that it was
he cooperated. He cooperated with the result ending against him in round 1. Is that a fair statement by me?
You guys are WWE fans. Cooperated, scripted, however you want to skin the cat.
Well, that's a fixed fight.
Yeah, but how? But
is that what we're saying?
But Ian, how do people believe that they could pull this off at this level when it's that poorly done? This kid got cut this morning, Dulgarian.
Yep.
And if what everybody is saying is true, then he deserves to be cut. But how in the world do people believe that they're going to pull this off? One, Ian. And what about the sports books? Like, how do they handle that whenever it's happening? Because like you said, they started to pull the bets down and the props.
Yeah, well, to a two-part question. One, whoever had the plan to do this, they got caught. Essentially, they're going to get caught. It was picked apart, and they thought they could get it done by doing it so late. They're hoping, because I guess the guy in Dulgarian's not that popular, it's on a fight night, that hopefully people won't pay attention. But again, the MMA, the gambling community on Twitter, everyone's always looking for an edge. They pay attention to this stuff. So they were hoping by the lack of popularity of the card, lack of popularity of the fighter, and doing this in a last-minute situation, it would fly under the radar. But DC, Chael, there's always somebody that's greedy. There's always somebody where it's not enough.
Yeah.
So they keep doing it and doing it. And unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. Now, the sports books, some of them, not all, it's at their discretion. I will say there's been a handful that I've seen that are crediting refunds towards anything that had a Dulgarian thing involved. So that's also another huge red flag. They are giving out where they're saying, hey, if you had Dulgarian a parlay, we're going to void the Dulgarian leg, your parlay wins. If you had if you had any type of props, anything, we're going to void it. You don't win, you don't lose. So it's at the book's discretion. I recommend the books do that because it's good to do for your clients. It's not enough money, in my opinion, to really have a bad taste in your mouth. But a lot of the books in since the fight, I mean, literally that night, there was at least 3 of them that went on Twitter and said, we are crediting our customers. We're investigating this. I had a friend of mine who works at the Hard Rock sent me a message. He goes, we're investigating this. What do you know about this? You know, so I mean, look, if the books are giving refunds this quick,
yes.
If you don't know, now you know, right?
Yeah, like Dana says, right? If you don't want to lose, for them to be giving away money and not to people like Chael and I, because gambling companies love Chael and I to talk about gambling with our stuff, but to be giving it back is insane. Ian, hey, Ian, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you taking time to join. Always knowledgeable. Ian Parker, thank you for joining us.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
You're the man. Chael, hey, Gable Steveson has finally got into the game. We thought for a long time Gable
There's a
would
topic
be a
change,
fighter.
but yeah.
Topic change. And this is one you can really get into, right?
Yeah.
This is one we can get into. Gable Steveson has fought twice now. He fought in LFA, got the job done. He fought last weekend in Dirty Boxing. He won in 15 seconds, Chael. Jumped over the rope. First off, he tells McMahon he wants an opportunity. But you know what's most impressive? Chael, to get to McMahon, he literally runs over and just jumps over the ropes. You want to talk about an athlete? That big bear can move. What did you make of Gable Steveson last weekend?
I have the same opinion as you. Like, what was the cooler thing? Winning that so fast, cutting the promo, or jumping the ropes hands-free? I agree with you. And what a display of athleticism to describe a fellow fighter, particularly a young man, Daniel, right? Like, as a veteran, you and I don't look up to the younger guys. We say he looks like he has potential. But there was something very honorable and admirable about what Gable did. He left his lifetime of skills in the back. He agrees to a bare-knuckle fight of which he knows nothing about. He just leveled the playing field. Forget about Olympic this or NCAA that. Walked out there with complete courage. He's got John Jones on a white horse. Now, John Jones is not there to support Gable. He's out there to do marketing. He got the white horse with the eye patch, which, by the way, he looked pretty cool on that white horse. I like that he's steering those things towards Aspinall. I must tell you, though, purely as a wrestler, it is very exciting for me to see Gable. We do not have an NCAA athlete under contract at the UFC in the heavyweight division. And I don't just mean we don't have one in the top 15 or the top 10. There is not a single Division I wrestling athlete. That's before we get into champion. That's before we get into world medalist or Olympic Games. Just an All-American. And the last one we had was Daniel Cormier. And when Daniel left, he never got replaced. And I do think that Gable Steveson could fill a slot that you left behind, and I think that he's ready to do it. I wish he would have done that grappling match with Craig Jones. I feel like that kind of would have bookended real nicely, a real big grappling match, and then the no gloves thing. But I think he looks very frightening. I think he's got a bright future, and I don't think that Mick Maynard came out to see him for nothing. I think that Gable is about to be a UFC fighter, likely a Dana White Contender Series, but UFC nonetheless.
Chael, how about this though, Chael? You said we don't have an All-American. How about an American, just the word, an American to get excited about, right? Just an American athlete to get excited about making his way into MMA. That's Gable Steveson. They asked me a couple weeks ago, who still is the greatest potential to be a UFC champion, American-born UFC champion? And you start to look around, and I still said Bo Nickal because I believe that Bo Nickal still has potential. I changed on him. It's Gable Steveson. It's Gable Steveson. It's Gable Steveson for one reason, that there are no wrestlers. There are no wrestlers at heavyweight. John Jones is the wrestler. And look at the way John Jones made a fight with Cyril Gane look, because he has wrestling. Cyril Gane tried to strike with him. John was able to take a position, Chael, and it wasn't the cleanest takedown. But it's, oh my goodness, he missed. My head slipped under his arm. I'm close to him. Wrestling tells me that if I trip here or if I push him in this direction, he will fall. Guess what? He fell. You can't just shoot a double leg on these guys anymore. You need to have the ability to trick them. Gable Steveson has all that ability. Gable can foot sweep you. Gable can kick at your legs. Gable can do all those things. So yes, now I'm excited. I'm excited about a wrestler, an All-American, an Olympian, and just the last word, an American athlete that has potential to come out there and compete at the highest level, because that's what you have in Gable Steveson. And the fact, Jill, that he isn't afraid. So many fighters or wrestlers in general, we come into MMA and we struggle with the striking because it's a bit uncomfortable. We're so used to tying up and grabbing the legs. But when those missiles start coming at your face, you don't really know when to level change, how to level change without getting kicked in the head. Because Kane kicked me in the head, broke my nose when I started. Mayhem Miller kneed me in the eye, gave me wide open. I was so nervous about the striking that I learned the hard way. Gable doesn't seem scared at all, Chael. He gets in there and he just fights.
If he's scared, he's one tremendous actor. And the only thing I guess I would question on Gable, because I've been such a believer and a fan for a while, but Daniel, I've seen him do a lot of sport. I've even seen him up on ice skates, and that's not a joke. I've seen him running downs in the NFL recently. I saw him bouncing around the ropes, I believe, with Corbin in a professional wrestling match, and I saw him return to World Wrestling, and I even saw him make the team. Going through Mason and everybody. So my big question is just simply, is he locked in and is he focused? I love the connection to John Jones, and I don't want to use this as a chance to be my usual jerk of a self to John. It's just John isn't very disciplined. John doesn't go to practice very often. If Gable is in fact going to do this, he's going to need the 2 a day every day. Rest one day of the weekend, and you're going to have to grind the rest of the time to really get those skills. And I don't know who he's training with. I don't actually know. I know if he's in New Mexico with John, in fairness, there's not a lot of exercise going on. But if he's still in Minnesota or if he's out in Florida with Robbie Lawler and those rumors are out there, I think that'd be interesting. I'd like to hear more about that.
It sounds like Jones is taking a real hands-on approach with coaching him. I saw him in that garage that they trained in with Jones watching over him. We'll see, because if there's anyone to impart knowledge on you, it is John Jones. But there are some other things that Gable's going to have to make sure he ignores to ensure that he gets to where he wants to go. But
Daniel, what an incredible addition to John Jones's career. It is so rare that you as a coach a world champion. It is so rare as a coach. I mean, you could commit your whole life to just get to a world title fight. If John, and you remember this when Cejudo retired. Cejudo retires and all of a sudden he's a coach and he's got 3 champions in his gym, including John Jones. So now let's say that John is to prosper like that. It would be a tremendous feather in the legacy of John Jones's cap, at least with me. I'd give him a ton of credit. If he found a guy and rised him all the way up to champion of the world, something special.
Yeah, if he can ride with Gable from day one all the way to the top of the sport, it would be crazy. But yeah, this dude is, I believe today, he's the best American prospect to potentially become a UFC champion. That doesn't mean that Bo Nickal doesn't have the opportunity to do it. Bo's got some years ahead of him. But we'll see what happens. Also, Chael, I spoke to Carter Starachi yesterday, and he may be coming out to Gilroy to get some training in for fighting himself. So that would be another great addition to our mixed martial arts wrestling, the mixed martial arts pipeline that we're trying to rebuild to make wrestlers great again inside the UFC. Make wrestling great again inside the UFC, Chael. All we got to do is put some
Carter's a rough boy, man. Don't play with Carter Starachi. I've told people before, don't play with him.
Athlete, Chael.
Yep.
But Chael, Bo Nickal is probably years ahead of those guys to beat them to the finish line.
Sure. But
the other day, for the first time outside of the octagon, he got a little bit of it was bad news or a little bit of a demotion. I Obviously, when he got beat by Rainier Derrida, that was bad. But they put him right back on the main card of a pay-per-view. Not anymore, Chael. They demoted him to the featured prelim for the first time in his career. He will not be on a pay-per-view. Is this a bad thing that they have now put him down on the prelims going into that fight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure it is. I mean, promotion actually means that promotion goes one way, which is up. And in the UFC, if you win, you will either go up or you'll stay steady. You know, when you get to main event, there's really nowhere else to go. When you get the title fight, there's really nowhere else to go. Bo was in a very sweet spot, and I actually read that article because his coming fight, he was a 2-1 favorite. It wasn't a highly anticipated fight. It kind of caught a few of us from nowhere saying, okay, nobody's asked for that fight, but okay. Then when it was given a TV spot, you know, as a supporter of Bo, as a wrestler, I liked it. You're breaking news to me. I did not know that it had fallen back down. Now, there's all sorts of answers where people like to play and go, no, a main event of an undercard is bigger than an opening bout. Just stop. Just stop with the whole thing. Yeah. Whether there's more eyeballs or not, it is a social standing within the locker room. And within our own locker room, which spot is cooler? Yes, of course, is the main card, and Bo would not deny that.
It's the main card. It's on pay-per-view. You get to hear the music. You get to hear Teenage Wasteland playing in the arena while you're in the back warming up. There's something to being on a main card in the UFC. Chael, which, by the way, I never was not on in my entire career. Chael, you know that in my entire career, I've never fought less than a co-main event. That's a little fun fact for you. Every fight in the UFC. I did not know that. Yep. Every single fight was co-main event or main event. More main event fights than I had non-main events in my UFC career. But Bo Nickal's going to fight Rodolfo Vieira. Chael, this one has potential to look like Paul Craig, but he needs to make sure, right? Because when he fought Paul Craig and Craig had the grappling, he didn't take him down. He showed his striking, which to you and I, we thought he did pretty good. He's a wrestler. He didn't use his greatest skill. We thought he made a mistake by not using his wrestling. But if he does this again against Vieira, because Vieira's an even better grappler, he's got to look better. He's got to make it look impressive. And what he needs to do more than anything is push Vieira, because Vieira does get fatigued. If Bo doesn't push this guy and try to exhaust him and look good, then it'll be main card to featured prelim. You don't want to end up early fight past prelims. You just keep going down. You keep going down. So Bo's got an opportunity this time to make sure that he makes a statement.
Yeah, I agree with that, and he sees it the same way. Bo made one mistake, and a number of guys have made this, which is some guys have a relationship to the president. Everybody's got their eye on this White House card, which I'll just tell you as a viewer, for me, is very annoying to be talking about a card that is so far away at a venue that does not yet exist, with a placement and a title on the line that has not yet been determined. I mean, not for nothing, it's a little annoying, but these guys talk to the president, then they come and tell the media, I'm on the White House card. I just want to tell these guys, rule number one, if you ever want something from the president, don't tell anybody if you were given something from the president. And the moment that you do tell them, that deal is gone. And I've heard Dana White tell guys that way back in the day. Here's the deal, unless you tell anybody. If this gets back to me, the deal's off, because I need a reveal and I need a surprise. You know, there was just some different reasons to it, and Dana would hold to it. Keep your mouth shut. Here's what you get, but I'm the one that promotes the card. I'll relay it and reveal it when I want to. I would just give a little word to the wise to anyone that wants to go out and run that racket.
Yeah, shut up. Like, shut up when you get
shut up.
Just shut up. Keep that to yourself, man. Hey, chill.
You said shut up like poetry. You said shut up.
Chill. The White House venue will live for about 48 hours. Literally, it's going to exist for 48 hours. They're going to put it together on Friday night. It will be out and off of the White House lawn by Sunday morning. Guys, just relax. You'll get the call if you're getting the call. Really quick, Chael. Hey, Islam Makhachev said for the first time.
If they want you, they'll call you. That's right, Daniel. You're right.
Don't call. Hey, it's not you. It's me. I'll call you. Hey, Chael, Islam said he's taking creatine for the first time in his life. He said it feels different. It's easier to gain weight, and the weight is coming off a lot easier. What do you make of that?
I love it. I got a one-on-one with Islam. It was actually, you were supposed to do it. You're somewhere. They're putting me on. Islam had heat with me like a year ago. Before I know it, I'm in this Twitter fight with Islam, which I did not want to be in. I really admire Islam. So, I'm hoping that all gets worked out. You tell him that if he stiffs me on this interview because it's me, let him know. That's going to really embarrass me. We got an interview in a week. What do I make of that? Daniel, I predicted it. Islam has always said that he's returning to 155. And I kind of want to say, Islam, get to 170. I can guarantee you, when you feel better, you're eating a little more, you're nicer to other people, your attitude's better. You're going to have a different experience, particularly in a place like New York City. For the first time in your career, you're going to be able to enjoy the experience, which generally is very miserable by the time you start traveling and cutting water down. I'd love to hear it from him. He earned this the hard way. He cleaned out a division, maybe the hardest division in the sport. He's moved to another division. This is what it's all about. And not to mention, it's something he will never discuss. But if you don't always want to be the heir apparent to King Khabib's throne, you got to do something that Khabib didn't do. And this is his opportunity. And I know inside that's not his motivation. He is not trying to show up Khabib. But I am just suggesting at some point his grandkids are going to look back on his career and they will now have something they can turn to that is different than Uncle Khabib.
Yeah, he said that the other day. Somebody asked him, like, well, if it doesn't matter for you. He goes, what a stupid question. He goes, Khabib's my brother. He goes, I don't want to do anything better than him. He goes, we do this together. But this is for my legacy. And right now, Islam's on the verge of legacy if he can get this done. So, yes, he feels better and he gets to do it in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Chill. You said that when you go to New York, you feel like trash cutting weight, or when you go to a fight, you feel like trash. The only time that I never felt like trash outside of when I fought Stipe in those fights was when I went back to New York City myself. And it's obviously a great day. Unfortunately, it was a long time ago for me. My beard is even all gray now. Bro, on November 3rd, 2018, Chael, I fought Derek Lewis and defended my heavyweight championship in Madison Square Garden. It was my last UFC victory and my last UFC title defense. What an amazing experience that was for me and my entire team to go there and as the double champion, defend that belt, and then Dana puts 2 belts on me for a second time. It was an amazing experience, and honestly, Chael, had I walked away after that, the way my career is perceived might be different because I would have beaten everybody in my career outside of that one loss to John Jones and the 1-0 contest. But what do you remember of that fight? Because remember, it came together very quickly, 3 weeks. They called me to fight Derek Lewis and went to Madison Square Garden, was able to wrestle him the whole time and got a submission victory. I went up, you know what I remember too? I went up to the fight afterwards, and it was me and little Daniel, and you're sitting up there with Ariel Hawani, and you go, that's some really good cologne, DC. You actually told me I was wearing good cologne in Madison Square Garden.
DC, I will tell you this. When they announced that fight on short notice, there was so many DC fans that took a sigh of relief, but I was not one of them. I'm like, wait a minute, man. This Derek Lewis will knock you out with one shot. Not to mention, there is no short notice for him. I mean, he's going to prepare the same way either way. And I remember when you guys were walking, I remember that building, and there was something even bigger, Daniel, and it was a part of the story that never got told. The night that you fought Derek Lewis was the first night that Ben Askren was in the building of a UFC, and he was doing media himself. Malky had just worked out that trade where Ben Askren comes over and Demetrius Johnson leaves, and Henry Cejudo was part of the UFC. And I was just looking at that Olympic team. You guys, you and Cejudo and Ben were all Olympic teammates. There was only 6 guys on the team. 3 of them were in the building tonight, and 2 of them got world titles. The other one's coming in undefeated. I just thought, I wish that from a wrestling perspective, that story would be told a little better. I do remember your takedown, though, specifically. You got in on Derek Lewis with a single, and then you back-tripped him. And I watched you step through and back-trip him. I remember thinking, he's a genius, because Daniel Cormier would have never even tried that with a 205-pounder.
Nope.
But he assessed the heavyweight. Yeah, he assessed where the weight was of the big beast, used it against him, got on top, got his $4 million. Got his check, whatever it was.
Chill.
Whatever.
What is wrong with you? Oh my God.
He got his check, whatever the check was.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was 500,000. Chill.
Right.
Listen, Derek Lewis. Yeah, that was a great night, man. Unbelievable. Hey, I got some news for you.
Okay.
I got some news for you.
Okay.
Guys, we're in New York City next week. When do you get there, Chael? When do you get there?
I'm going out this week.
Ooh, you're early. Whole week. I get there on Sunday night, Monday morning. I go to New York City. New York is always a great week for us. It's one of my favorite weeks of the entire year. But Chael, no show Thursday, guys, so we won't see you on Thursday. Chael, no show Monday. So we will see you guys next Thursday for Good Guy, Bad Guy, live from New York City to Big Apple. Chael, this is like a vacation. We get a vacation, guys, before we go to New York City. So for Chael Sonnen, I'm Daniel Cormier. Guys, thank you so much for supporting us and watching Good Guy, Bad Guy. Until next time, peace.